This week on RSBANDB Update, Lumbridge resets itself to its 2012 state, bringing questions about the demise of the Sixth Age. Lumbridge has been updated to be cleaner and restored to its roots as our familiar home. Also, Lunar Isle is updated, and it steals the show. This is RSBANDB Update, episode 1064, recorded Thursday, November 20th, 2025. Sixth Age Erasure. Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of RSBANDB Update. This week we go home to Lumbridge for one of two graphical updates this week. Tanis, you're here as you are most each and every week.
Thank you, Shane.
I say most each and every week because next week is of course American Thanksgiving.
And I'll be busy. Yes.
That's right, and we also have Pernasius, everyone's second favorite Australian.
Thank you. But not everyone's. There is one person out there who has said I am their favourite. So one out of the thousands.
Fair enough. And also Zant joins us
Hello.
to talk about these graphical reworks. Zant produced the Legends Guild that took the internet by storm. That was initially an RSBANDB Patreon feature, but everybody caught on to that thing, didn't they?
Yeah, that went pretty crazy. I still kind of can't believe that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was a great interpretation of it. But we're going to talk about graphical updates this week, but of course in the meantime, before we get too far down the track, a big huge thank you to our experienced tier Patreon members, because without them this podcast would not be possible, and that's Amos Reed, Bladecom, Dominic R, Jade Gizmo, Jason S, Jesse W, Julia W, Kesky, Lemon Lodge, Luminos, Ricky A, Psy Oasis, Snail Mage, The Naked Captain, and Tim. And you'll be hearing more about our Patreon offerings a little bit later in the show, including everybody's full name that we'll mention at the Patreon spot. But of course, if you want to follow along, full show notes and transcripts can be found over at update.show. We also have the community Discord over at update.show/Discord, and the friends chat can be found in game at BitsBytes. Alrighty, folks, going home to Lumbridge. It's almost as though the last 12 years
15?
didn't happen.
Oh,
Yeah.
please, from your lips to God's ears, could that happen? Please. Please.
In real life, yeah.
Can we just have a rework? Just
You can do a mulligan.
yeah.
We are, of course, talking about the effectively resetting Lumbridge to how it was before World Event 1. Which, we knew Mod Stu was working on this, but holy crap, this is like copying a page out of Old School's homework and applying it to RS3. Is that graphically? How does this part of it feel? Because obviously it's not, like it's not like a big shiny piece like Lunar Isle is. It's more contrived to what RuneScape typically is. How do you feel graphically about this?
Well, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't exactly remember what state the foliage and rocks and everything in the crater exactly was, but
They
this
filled it in. They filled
This
it in.
pretty much brings it up to line with everything else they've updated in the game, and it's got all the grass and everything like you'd expect. And personally, for me, like, I think the swamp looks excellent. We are seeing some kind of glaring issues with RuneScape's fog there because of how dense they went with it.
Which they said is a known issue and they'll be fixing.
Yeah. Actually, I could talk about that a little bit too.
So what's the deal with that based on what you see?
When I first saw it, I thought it was intentional, because I was playing on my new Iron Man account where the camera is set to, I think, like, not one of the freedom ones, so you can't like zoom super far out. And I never was like super high up in the air to the point where you can see things around you. But the problem is RuneScape fog does not obscure water. Water appears through it. So when you have a big body of water on the other side of the swamp like you do here, you can see that through the fog. Whereas if that was not an issue. It would just be complete fog all the way to the sky. And it's just too small of an area to have this dense fog when you can see that water and see the surrounding scenery like that. And it breaks the immersion. But man, when your camera's kind of low to the ground, you can't see the edge of the swamp, and it feels vast.
Yeah, because if you go to like almost an over-the-shoulder shot, it is very atmospheric.
It really is, and I think it looks really good when you get some of those shots. But the second you see water that is like behind the fog, well, it just kind of breaks it. Or you see the outline of Al Kharid or the outline of the castle.
Or the dock as an example or something to that effect.
Yeah, but it is amazing to not have Shattered Worlds here. Oh my God, that dominated this area. It's like you could stand anywhere in the swamp and it's just, oh, we're at the Shattered Worlds zone now, guys. And no, now the place feels like it's the Lumbridge Swamp.
Yeah, and you know, RIP running to the bank and crafting water runes that way.
Yeah. So I do think they could tone down the fog a bit. But overall, I love the gloominess they got. I love the skybox. It's good stuff, and the fog colors are pretty good too. They don't do anything weird with how it interacts with the skybox. It's another kind of limitation I think RuneScape's fog has, is that it can only be one color that just kind of like increases in intensity as you get farther away.
Okay.
Whereas some other games, they have kind of like a distance-based gradient.
It looks really neat when you walk up to one of the torches in the swamp too, how that illuminates the area.
Yeah.
What do you make of how quickly the fog turns on and turns off when you walk across the border there?
I'm willing to just chalk that up to it's RuneScape. I mean, I don't know how else they would handle that unless they had some way to like make it transition slower, maybe like 10 seconds or so while you're kind of walking up the road. But it's just too small of a game world to really have true transition zones like that. Like it's a bit insane that our swamp is literally like on the wall of Lumbridge.
Because we don't even have level of detail yet, I don't think, do we?
No, it's all assets are on or off. And if you guys don't know what he means by level of detail, most modern games, they have a system where meshes have 5 different versions or so, and the LOD 0, level of detail 0, is your just normal, fully high detailed mesh of your object. And then the ones that go up in number, so LOD 1, it's lower poly than that. LOD 2 is lower poly than that, until you eventually get to like just an image of the object that's viewed at distance. So it allows more optimization because you're not rendering as much geometry far away, so less geometry overall, and the stuff up close can be more detailed. But RuneScape, it's either on or off.
So if
it's one mesh.
So basically, if you set draw distance to ultra and turn everything up to max, even if something is, you know, in the next map square over, you're still rendering that at full detail, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, something I'm curious about: do you guys play on ultra draw distance?
No, I turned that down to high in leagues after you mentioned that.
Yeah, so I was curious about that too, because I think that kind of... Yeah, I've been playing on high for a long time, because I think ultra is just too much. You can see way too much. And also high, it kind of intensifies those atmospherics a little bit. So you kind of feel slightly more enclosed and not just kind of like out in the open in this, you know, carnival-esque kind of world that RuneScape is.
Because if I stand, you know, just north of the graveyard or south of the graveyard and I'm on ultra, I can see the Wizard's Tower, but if I turn that to high, I cannot. So
Yeah, I'm on the path just south of Lumbridge to the east of the swamp, and I can't see the Wizard's Tower. And that's good.
Yeah.
IMO.
Tanis Pern, in terms of swamp like, I mean, this is one portion of it going back in time, but does it stoke any nostalgia?
Oh, the whole area did for me. And I didn't. It just reminded me of when I first landed. I mean, I know it's not exact, but it felt it really had that. It really had that feel.
And they're starting all new characters in Lumbridge now.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool too.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm sure there are things, you know, that we can pull out, but yeah, it was just kind of like, oh, and yeah, it was just a warm nostalgia feeling. So, yeah, and I guess like we started Lumbridge and Lakes, didn't we?
Yeah.
It was, yeah. So I mean, I've spent a lot of time there lately, and then to see what they did. I still this Lumbridge has still been kind of. I know it hasn't been here in a long time, but that's still the one that's kind of burnt in my head.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And I mean, I understand the benefit of having the Lumbridge in RS3 be the same as the Lumbridge in old school. It makes it as though, you're kind of stepping into the same world. And I wanted to, just ask about this in general. Like, how do we feel about this aggressive push to it feels like just, get away from World Event 1 and what was, the start of the Sixth Age and RS3 and that huge period that followed from it, because as folks may or may not know, today marks 13 years since EOC came out as we're recording this, November 20th.
Yeah, I can't say that it strikes me as aggressive in any way. I mean, 13 years. Like, it's been over for a while.
And granted, the crater was filled in, and that's where we had the beach and everything. And
yeah, this is a long time coming, I feel like, and I didn't even see it as like bringing it in line with like old school or anything. I just saw it as restoring it the way I remembered it.
All right, how about you, Bern?
Yeah, I mean, same type of thing. The king finally got off his ass and started fixing the walls and such. I mean, you got a kingdom and you got your castle and your walls get knocked down. You don't generally just leave it sitting there for centuries. You get it fixed up so you don't get invaded again.
But they did keep the door at the back of the guard tower to get through to the Lumbridge farming patch where it rightfully
the tree
belongs.
I mean, we all knew Shane would be very happy that would be his highlight.
That was the first question I asked Mod Stu when this appeared in Discord.
Yeah. I mean, I love the whole area, and taking because Shattered Worlds did dominate that swamp down.
They moved it to Void Island. I don't know why last week I said they were moving it to where Mobilizing Armies is.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Like,
isn't that the
thematically.
Warforged dig site now?
Yeah, that's
down
where.
near there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought they would have just put it in the game as Grotto because it's essentially a mini game. But anyway, they did what they did with it. But yeah, looks great. On my main computer, I generally always have Ultra. Just low on the laptop, but I thought it looked really good. I don't use that really drawn back. I tend to zoom in a fair bit, so it looked fantastic to me, and really well done, and great to see the old ham hideout back where it belongs.
Yeah,
that
was just
thing.
And see what that did by having it on the other side of the river is it just put too much stuff there, right? Because you had the goblins, then you had the ham hideout, then you had that statue and like
god statue,
so much.
Well,
there.
that's it. I mean, when I when I first joined RuneScape, I mean that's where that ham was one of the early quests you did. So I did that pre the God War World Event 1, and when I made my Iron Man account, I automatically ran to that spot and go, hang on, where is it? And oh no, it's over there under the bridge now. So it just gives it a feeling of back to sort of when you first got into the game and those memories that you had, so I think it looks fantastic, and I like everything they've done, and bringing it up to speed graphics wise with the rest of the game. So as we said, it's not going to be jarring going from one area to another.
Also gone is the combat academy at the Lumbridge market squares there. So and I mean that makes sense with no training there and not having the need for impending doom when the gods are fighting just to the west. They also simplified and added a number of stalls there and NPCs that are pickpocketable, and it's like, What's happening on Monday? Oh, geez, eh? Yeah, 120 thieving's happening on Monday as per the schedule. So, and overall, I think when we get into this, we're gonna remember this time period as being one that I'm just gonna say mirrored real life, because the game's been very polarizing for people who didn't like EOC, for people who didn't like the Sixth Age, for people who didn't like microtransactions. And, EOC has been, I think, largely been fixed with things like necromancy and the various combat updates we've had over the years, Revolution to, just everything to make onboarding combat easier. MTX and Treasure Hunter going away in January. So then it's like, well, how do you address everything else that started back in the day with RS3 that bothered people, right?
Would you say we're in the fourth age of Jagex?
Fourth.
Well, you had the original.
I'm trying to think.
You had the original, then you had OS2, you had OS HD,
okay.
then EOC. So
so wouldn't that make this the fifth
probably
then?
the fifth age.
Right,
fifth
because
age,
you have Classic, RS2, HD, EOC.
And then now, so we're now into the fifth age.
So, I mean, maybe that is a way of looking at it. What do we think of Lumbridge as a starting area in general?
Love it.
Same.
Love it.
Big same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
That's where, when we originally did join the game, and for most of it, I mean, let's be honest. The player base is a fairly old player base, and the majority of us would have started
a portion of what it
there.
was back in the day. Exactly,
but it's still those players who, when they made their original accounts, that's where they did. Now, as you're making new accounts and things, that's where we all started. That's where that first quest that you did, Blood Pact, was, and things like
Cook's
that.
Assistant.
So,
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, those early ones, and I think it's a great.
And it makes it more of a journey of discovery, because I think the Berthorpe Taverley paths were very hand-holding. And I said this,
were they? Yeah.
Like we said this on Fresh Start, right? That the very early, first few hours of the game, as they had it set up for Fresh Start, was very good, right? In terms of the onboarding experience. And it was handholdy in a way, I think, that people came to expect of their video games at the time. But then at the same time, if you're questioning what makes RS today, do you need that level of handholdiness for it? And, and maybe the answer is no. What's up?
It was good. Like, it was good accessibility wise. Like the arrows, I know, like that makes it feel handholdy, but I don't know. My problem with the Berthorpe starting area is everything just always felt cluttered, and even though it's been this many years, I never really caught on to where some things were.
Oh yeah, I still
Lumbridge.
have trouble when I'm doing Jack of Trades there. And I mean, if we just like switch the tab back and go back to Berthorpe instead of Lumbridge, Berthorpe and Taverley now have the same problem that Lumbridge had previously, where there's just so much there. And I mean, look at the world map.
Give us Old Taverley.
Yes.
Please, give us Old Taverley.
Old Taverley would be something.
Oh, that'd be the most nostalgia I'd ever seen from a graphical update. I love Old Taverley.
That's the thing, and I mean, all those areas where they're teaching you farming.
There's not even a bank in Old Taverley.
You don't need to have all those grouped in one little, was it 10 by 10 square to learn all 27 skills. I'd love to see it sort of, all those skilling
because
stations.
Because archaeology has its own tutorial,
cities,
necromancy has its own tutorial, invention has its own tutorial, divination teaches you just south of Draenor Village there.
And that's what I like, having those different.
In.
I mean, Taverley was always the herblore place. When I first started, you go there, you do that little quest, and then bang, you're learning herblore, things like that. And I'd love to see them sort of, when they do get to Berthorpe, start to maybe spread that out a bit more too, and sort of have the learning areas into other areas where they're going to be sort of, more relevant. Like, have your thieving. I mean, yeah, your first thieving is that, the pompous merchants and things like that. No, take it to an area like Lumbridge or the Rock, where you're going to, learn and such, and go out there and start doing it. So,
do we need to worry about having onboarding for players in this sense? Because my sense right now is that, from this week onward, you make a new account, bam, you're just put in Lumbridge. Is that a problem?
I don't think so. Actually,
yeah.
You go first, Tannis. I'm going to open a whole can of worms here.
Okay, I was just going to say, I mean, not for players like us, and since I don't really think there's such a thing as new RuneScape players, it's probably fine. If I thought there were new people coming in all the time and it was their first experience, then maybe some more arrows to at least, the different tutors or something.
But here's the thing, folks. Old School hit 250,000 players. They use Tutorial Island and Lumbridge not only for people who start up on desktop, but also for people who start on mobile. Keep in mind, on RS3, people who start on mobile will still do the Dave and Dale tutorial.
Yeah. I was wondering about that. I was like, do we still have Tutorial Island?
You betcha.
But, I mean... Yeah. Even if we are getting new players in, they're generally coming in because they've got mates who play. Your dad plays, so the dad's getting his sons and daughters into playing and things like that. So they've got someone to ask and help guide them through anyway, if there is anything.
Okay, what was the can of worms you wanted to open, Sant?
So, two things. I always thought Berthorpe and Taverley was a bit of a weird place to start. And to me, that always read as they're putting you next to a members area. So very early on in the game, you're like, wait a minute, I can't go over here. I should buy membership. But I think the beauty of it, you starting in Lumbridge, is you kind of have a bit of a journey to get there. And then you get there and you've experienced some of the game. And then you're presented with, oh, you need members to go, across the mountain. And I think that was a bit nicer. Like you had a bit of progression before you were just buy membership, by walking somewhere. And then maybe this is just me as a perspective of someone who's been playing this game for way too long, but I kind of like how you just get dumped in Lumbridge and you kind of just kind of figure things out for yourself. I mean, there's plenty of stuff around there to do and click around. I mean, look at games like Breath of the Wild. It does the same thing. It just drops you into the world, and you just go explore and figure it out for yourself.
Because Nintendo knows who they're making Zelda games for.
That's very true, but I think that same thing worked pretty well for RuneScape before they switched to Taverley and Berthorpe as the starting area.
Okay.
Like, I felt you had enough stuff in that early area between the early quests and things kind of outside of the zone, like you can go over to Al Kharid and do some slightly higher level things there. And, you kind of have some progression to make it up to Varrock and then go over towards Falador. And you're not just kind of suddenly in, like, the middle of the world. Like, I feel like Lumbridge
And remember in Old School, Taverley and Berthorpe is a members area.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's right. It used to be that. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Because there's the gate.
Yeah, the update for Berthorpe and Falador, where that became the entry area, made it free to play.
Yeah. And, just going through some of the patch notes for things that they did to accommodate that, the Berthorpe and Taverley start points, they moved down the quest list area sort to better reflect starting in Lumbridge. So if you look at your quest list and sort by area, those quests in the Lumbridge area will be presented to you first if you do area sort on that. So now it reads as Lumbridge, Drainer Outskirts, Wizard Tower, Varrock Palace, Varrock Outskirts, Silveria, Edgeville, Wilderness, Ice Mountain, Falador North, Falador Castle, Falador Park, Rimington, Port Sarum, then we get to Taverley. So
the beginning of that's how I did it.
So
like the first third.
So if you wanted to do all the free-to-play quests in that, you could go through this list in area order now, and it would route you through what is the the starting area as they see it.
Yeah, that's That's really good.
Which
like,
is a big...
How awkward is it to just go back to Lumbridge after being in Borthorpe and Taverley, or
Exactly,
discovering Lumbridge later? You know, that's just strange.
It's more of a natural flow.
Exactly.
I mean, I remember getting in the game first. We started in Lumbridge and going up and getting, walking along and getting attacked by, by a thief and getting killed on the walking up to Varrock and things like that. And it's just, it's that, okay, Lumbridge is that little safe area, learning, and then, okay, you're going to explore out. And it led to that exploration feeling of the game. And yeah, the game wasn't big, but back when we first started in Lumbridge, it was. Remember, you had to pay 10 GP to walk into. I couldn't get into El Kharid because I didn't have 10 GP. I had to go and kill half a dozen goblins, and just to get the money to get in there, and just little things like that. Seeing it as it is now, it just brings back those memories, and knowing that that's where you're going to be starting again, and that's what I loved. I think also about the leagues we just had, because I started in Lumbridge, so I did everything there, and then sort of ventured on out after that, and it was, it just makes sense. That's where you start, because it's an exploration thing, and then opening out the whole area, the whole world as you move on.
They also changed the 9 basic challenges that onboard daily challenges to be more generic objectives, so fish any fish rather than crayfish, and are less specific to Berthorpe.
That's good.
That's very good.
I really like that.
As such, also buff the damage and life points of Berthorpe trolls that even Berthorpe path players were underbalanced. Okay?
Those are like a one hit.
You're one hitting them at level 10.
Yeah. I like the capes that they dropped. Those are always a nice little early cape to have, though.
Yeah, the first thing you did, go in there and just get a cape off each of them.
Is that what we did for leagues?
Yep.
Yep.
I got mine from the Highwayman.
I also appreciate how they put the necromancy one there too. There's like a purple one now.
Yes, but I mean, they had like a plus 2 or 3 buff on them. So we'll take it.
I don't think it makes much of a difference at that point in the game.
But it's still, it's like, hey, I got it.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta have something on your back.
They also gave some lessons to the Lumbridge Sage, so that the Sage now has more dialogue options that assist new players, such as telling them where to find quests, what monsters to fight, where to make money, find a bank, learn about navigation, as well as lodestones, tools, and the tool belt, the quest list, and skill list, local history, and of course the wiki. So you're not.
So that's excellent.
You're not thrown up the river. You do have the Lumbridge Sage to
exactly and
fall back on.
Yeah, someone who explains it all, and you can I want to learn about and you can keep coming back to him in that early game if you are a new player who's never experienced before. So love it.
Is this more dialogue than he had always, or was there a point where they took some away from him or something?
No, I don't think we've ever had this much for the Sage in our history.
Yeah, because I remember him the first time I was playing RuneScape being there.
Okay, I don't. But right, that's because I started it in Classic.
Yeah, probably.
Event notice boards permanently mapped near a bunch of places have been removed. It's almost as though we don't have community-style events anymore that we're going to be leading into, except for Christmas.
What were those even for?
You could just click on them and it would teleport you to them. And, back in the day, this was done when they were running the currency events. It would teleport you to the hub for that.
Yeah.
But now they just use them for holidays.
Gotcha.
The Iron Enclave portal is only visible if your account can enter the portal. That's good.
That's a really good one, yeah.
Castle walls, we've done pretty much that, and the swamp. So there's not too much else here to mention. The Nexus is just gone.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting, because that was a good early rare training place.
But I have a question. Did anybody actually do it?
I did in leagues.
Yeah. I mean, it was good for those really early levels, but I guess my only
43.
It sucks less than bearing bones.
Yep.
Yeah, but there's no real. I don't know. I don't see a connection to prayer that much.
And that's why it makes sense to remove it.
Yeah.
I wish now that they did this, though, they maybe give a multiplier to like the Lumbridge church altar or something, like a small one. So you kind of get taught that.
So that's one way of doing it. Another way is to just add in an early prayer training method. Maybe that's something that could come in the future. Maybe that's like a Haven Hive.
That's what the Nexus was.
I know.
Well, that's right. The Nexus was to get you to 43 quickly.
Pretty much, yeah.
But the thing is that, you know, if you know what you're doing, you're going to just buy bones or get bones and then go use them on the Chaos Altar in the wilderness, which has really obsoleted all other forms of prayer training except for the bunions. I mean, not the bunions. What are the powders?
Yeah, burial powders.
So
I don't even know what that is.
From Het's Oasis.
Basically, yeah, it gives you
that's why I don't know what it is.
It gives you the 300%, and you can basically just hold down, put it on number 1 on your tab, hold down number 1, and just keep reloading bank preset. And
then you get altar level prayer XP anywhere.
Polling booth removed from everywhere because we don't have polls.
You know, maybe that's a positive through line through all this. If the polling booth's removed, we're not going to poll everything like old school does in this new era.
How long have those been there for?
Since
they started doing power to the players.
Yeah, that's right. Power to the players.
Probably
like
20 years. That's probably 2014. But they say if there is a poll, you can just access it through the community interface, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Authoritarianism has come to RuneScape. Watch out.
I always thought it was
they
weird
came for the polls.
I always found polls and stuff like that were weird when they tried to go the diegetic route with it, like being in the world, like just go to the website.
Just have a button to open it up and away you go.
Yeah.
And I always like these ones. Yassandra's medium challenge scroll to count the number of mineable rocks in the Lumbridge copper and tin mine has been moved to Father Ernie, who will no doubt appreciate frequent interruptions to his meditation. So the clue anagram puzzle has been changed from soy drain to he any further.
God, now I've got to remember another one now.
He any further. And I mean, at least this one's right.
He any further away? Yeah, some of those anagrams.
There's one specific anagram that if you search for it, quit thy brine rat roll, pops up the RSBANDB update episode for that week, because that was our show title on one week where the anagrams were broken and didn't make sense. Remastered frogs, decluttering of Lumbridge East. We talked about the god statue. Or did we talk about the god statue here? I think you mentioned it briefly.
Not here yet.
It's pre-show.
Yeah, okay.
That was pre-show.
Move to northeast of Falador.
And in a really weird spot. It's just like slap out there in the middle of nowhere. And I was saying, I think, again, with all their decluttering, they could have removed that little pyramid-y stone stack that we had when we had to vote for whether they were going to bring in, it was 07 Scape back then, just outside the gates. They could have removed that and put this there, but it is what it is.
Yeah. And this is the level of detail in terms of actually looking at what the world means that this update brings. A pair of Lumbridge guards on the bridge over the River Lum have been moved to the Goblin side, as their former position might suggest the bridge was impassable. Which, when you think about it, we don't think about the bridges in RuneScape of ever being impassable, but if there's a pair of guards in the middle of a bridge, you're going to think that you cannot go past that bridge if you are a new player. Oh.
Yeah, I could see that. And then being on the other side makes it seem like they're kind of like defending the starter area from like the goblins there.
Yeah. Lumbridge Market, tidied up, training dummies removed. The fishing shop has been rotated, and with this, the Herald of Lumbridge has moved from near the lodestone and bank chest to west of the market, and her pause between proclamations has been tripled because we know how annoying that has been.
That's a good one.
Well, I added the bit about it being annoying. That's not actually in the patch notes.
No, it's just good that they did that. That's just funny.
All right. The Ceredominus priest and his family are no longer renting the upper level of Explorer Jack's house southwest of the Lumbridge Market and have moved on with their lives. And the Zamarakian herbalist and their family have finally tired of the nefarious rustlings in their cellar and have moved on from Lumbridge. So we still had these people from the Battle of Lumbridge just hanging around.
Yeah.
That's wild. I didn't even realize that.
In terms of actually talking about the Battle of Lumbridge and the crater in general, we already went over what that area looks like graphically. But if you have completed the World Wakes, then the Memorial Fountain appears in the middle of that pathway just west of the Lumbridge Castle.
That's really nice, personally.
Yeah, and they said by popular demand. So they have asked for that to be kept. And I like that.
Really?
Yeah, because
they weren't going to initially do that?
No, because there was an entire process in Discord where there was a back and forth about this project. And the fountain did come up.
Okay. Well, my next point was going to be that this is just straight up 6th Age erasure with deleting the crater. And I think it actually makes no sense that you can't see that there was a crater there, at least. Like, I have a lot of questions about that.
Or something around it.
Exactly. It just feels like those events just didn't happen now. And
that's the thing.
Did they just bring excavators in or something?
Right.
I guess, okay, fair enough.
And that's the thing I wanted to get to at the end of it, in the grand scheme of things, is are we trying to erase that the 6th Age happens? Because if you only now experience it through the quest list. And some of those quests in the early 6th Age are garbage.
Yeah, but let's also not forget that most new players, or most players who are coming on, they're not playing. I mean, you start a new account, you're not playing anything of those world events now. So, okay, where'd this crater come from? Unless you.
But that makes you wonder. That presents questions to the player. It's like, why is there a crater here? And then once you get to those quests...
I wish I was involved in that, and pisses people off because they can't play it.
I don't think that does. I think that's...
No, I know, I'm being...
I think it's good visual storytelling. But
I would like to see like a
so you guys would have liked
formation of rings or something. Just a little nod to
so basically like how the craters look in real life then, after... hundreds of years.
Exactly.
Like just a small little 2 or 3 foot depression in the ground or something like that. I just think it's insane to just say that they somehow had how do you ground that in the world? Did they just send a bunch of people out there to tidy up the area and literally excavate land with some magical wizard or something? Obviously they don't have excavators in RuneScape, but in Russia, there is a crater. Well, not even a crater. It's like a clearing in the trees from when there was a meteor the size of Chicks Club. And I think it was 1902 or something like that.
Right.
And it didn't even hit the ground. It just bounced off the atmosphere and exploded in the air. And there's still something visible there hundreds of years later. I just think. I mean,
if you look at the satellite, you can see on part of the Yucatan Peninsula, the crater that took the dinosaurs out. You can still see parts of that.
Yeah, I just think it's they just changed it back to old Lumbridge. There's no explanation for how it got like that. The things in Lumbridge make sense. Yes, they're going to rebuild the castle. Yes, they're going to tidy the area up. But how do you delete a crater?
And this gets to
cave goblins. We keep them under the castle.
I think all they really needed to do is this area where the ham thing is, put that slightly down a tier and make that the level that you're going to put this ring, and then just put little rocks that are kind of broken up along that ring, and then you just make it visible. You don't even have to be a tier of the terrain. The memorial it's enough, I guess, but the fact that was...
It only appears after you've done the World Wakes.
But the fact that that's in there by popular demand, that really makes me question what the whole idea behind this rework is.
And that's the thing that I kind of wanted to, know and feel is that is this an admission by current leadership that everything over the last 12 to 13 years should have been done different, and we should have taken the road not taken?
I sure hope
obviously
that's too far.
Obviously
I really liked the 6 Age,
right? But
I thought it was good.
We have gems, right? Like archaeology, like, dare I say it, Anachronia at this point in time, Menaphos, all the skills that came out in the 6 Age, divination, well, maybe not divination, but invention, archaeology,
well, divination, yes, because
they're
divination
all done,
come from.
Well,
no. Look, let me ask this. I think this is going to come down for something very simple. How hard would it have been, Sand? How much effort would it have taken
to do what he's saying?
Yes, because I don't think the answer is that deep. I don't think we're erasing the 6 Age or anything.
How much effort for what are you
like
asking?
to make a set of rings around the ham
or
place?
just
how much effort did it take to change the crater back to this?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know.
Because
I don't think it's any
extra, like,
because
if it takes extra time.
Drag rock in, copy paste. Drag rock, copy paste. Drag rock, copy paste. Replace asset with different rock.
So 2 things. We don't know if that's how their world map building system works. 1.
I'm pretty sure that's how it would work.
Okay.
I can't imagine how else it would work.
And the second,
maybe they have some scattering tools or something that would make it easier, but.
And the second thing is that map square to the west of Lumbridge Castle that we're talking about right now, is that the original map square from before World Event 1? Like, did that just exist somewhere in the files and did they bring it in? Or or did they redesign it for this update?
I think they had to kind of resculpt it because it's not 1-to-1. It's not perfect. And I mean, I haven't done a 1-to-1 comparison with old school, but things like I don't remember the ham headquarters being that high up. The ledge to the swamp was a little bit less intense. Like there's some differences in there.
What we could do is we could get out the I
don't think it's an exact copy is what I'm saying.
Yeah, we could get out the sextant on both RS3 and OS and measure, map square by map square to see where everything is.
That's true.
Because that gives us the coordinate.
Yeah.
But back to your thing about, if they're really trying to erase the 6 Age, are we going to resurrect Guthix next?
I just think it's the whole 6th Age and how they kind of made this ongoing storyline that had things happening across updates. I think that's one of the coolest things I've ever done with this game. And I can't imagine why they'd want to erase that.
Yeah. And I'll say that I don't think there's anything nefarious going on from the folks who are behind this. I definitely think it is in line with getting back to basics as we expect to see in 2026. Mod Stu was behind this project. I know for a fact that he would have absolutely, nothing no nefarious bones in his body in relation to any of these sorts of things, just knowing who he is as a person. And where I come in on this personally right now, after doing a bunch of the early 6th Age quests on the group Iron Man and Leagues, is that those quests are over the top. Looking specifically at the quests, like the first 3 or 4, starting from the World Wakes on, I don't think those feel like RuneScape quests. And if we're treating the 6th Age as that, then I start to have feelings that, maybe, we need a different approach. And I think they did do a better approach with the Elder God Wars portion of the 6th Age, and, the desert finale stuff and whatnot has been wonderful. But the 6th Age, you had to be there to experience it, like Zant said. And, there are people who will have that be the defining characteristic of their RuneScape experience, to the point that when Twilight of the Gods dropped, people actually left and quit because they got rid of the gods in the game as characters. So, I don't think they're trying to retcon the Sixth Age. I don't think they could do that from the lore, but I think they're trying to create a starting experience that makes the world feel more like the game that the people playing old school next door feel. I think that's what's going on here.
That's about what I think too. I think they're trying to make it more familiar to those old school people, and honestly, I think it's more familiar to me too. Like the tree patch being where it is, for example. Like my brain just remembers that better than the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I mean, the same, because sort of by the time I got through my tree runs with farming and all that, it sort of, it moved. I probably did a few at the new spot, but the majority was done early in that first spot.
Yeah. But that's pretty much it for this. I mean, final thoughts, Pern? You're on.
I was just going to say, and it makes sense. I mean, especially now that we are looking at doing leagues and things and trying to get a bit of that cross play from OS to RS3 and RS3 to OS even. It makes sense to have them visually familiar and knowing. I mean, someone wants to do the ham quest, they're going to run up this area from OSRS going, hang on, where is it? Oh, yeah, it's under this bridge here. Whereas now, they're in the same general spot. So it just makes a lot of sense to keep them more visually similar.
All right. Tanis, last thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was nice. It's very familiar. It's comfortable. And I like starting back in Lumbridge. I didn't think it would be Lumbridge that we turned the clock back on and made great again, but here we are.
What were you thinking it was going to be?
Well, I was hoping it might be somewhere else, but no, I'm kidding. I didn't have a preference, I think, but yeah.
Zant, anything else on Lumbridge?
Yeah, I'm overall pretty satisfied. I just wish there was something that represented the creator. That's a very strange decision in my eyes, and I don't know. I'd imagine maybe even some of the environment artists at Jagged would probably agree with me on that one, and was maybe not even their decision, to be honest. But yeah, I think the area being nice and familiar is great. It's the decluttering is good. There was just kind of a lot going on, especially in like the castle area before. And yeah, I think it's good. It feels like Lumbridge again. And also, I cannot explain to you how much nostalgia I felt like walking out the back door of the castle without the wall being blown out. That was... I didn't expect that to like take me back as much as it did, but it really did.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to thank some Patreon supporters right now. And like I mentioned, that the names are a thing this week. So starting off, big, huge thank you to everybody making this episode possible, including Alvaro L., Amos Reed, Arvids L., Bladecom, Chilbura, Dominic R., Duramax, Gila Fleur, Imperials, Jade Gizmo, Jason S., Jesse W., Julia W., Kesky, Lemon Lodge, Luminos, Mattman, Mighty Myth, Michelle M., Mike Wings, Mongrath, ooh, ah, 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 ooh, ah, 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 ah. There you go.
Ah, boo.
Pernasius.
Who did that?
Ricky A., Robbie D., Rob Sovs, Samuel FL, Scott DS, Shirt Pants, Sioaces, Smavin, Tabby, The Naked Captain, The Dabin Goat, Tim, Ukulele Steve, Woody, Zant, and Zazakon. Big, huge thank you, everybody. And if you're wondering what this is about, head on over to patreon.com/RSBANDB. There, starting for as little as $1 a month, you will get a thank you in our show notes, access to a monthly bit library featuring 88 now monthly bits, and voting rights on upcoming monthly bits topics. And you also get the satisfaction of keeping RSBNB Update running by funding hosting and production costs. At $3 a month, we have our community tier where you get a rank in our Discord and special chat channel, plus a shout out at the top of the month and high quality stereo audio. Periodically, you'll take part in workshopping monthly bit ideas with the team, submitting Patreon discussion topics for quiet weeks, take part in our community nights, and hear from producers in our behind-the-scenes posts. And we also do have our insider tier, where for $5 a month, you get a weekly shout-out on the show. access to our expanded clip archive, which are clips from pre and post show. There might be one in there from this week, and outtakes about various things. And you'll also, of course, be invited to send in short Patreon inside audio clips about the month's updates, and your thoughts could make their way into the episode. And with this tier also receives the RSBANDB update Christmas card in December. So since we're right around the corner to that time of the month, if you want to sign up and get a Christmas card, you have until December 1st to do so, and we'll be sending them all out. For folks who are already signed up, do make sure that your shipping information is up to date and accurate if you want to receive a card. Otherwise, it will go who knows where, and I'll have to track you down, and you won't get your card until sometime in the new year. So patreon.com/RSBNB. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so we thought we had one thing with Lumbridge.
Can I say one more thing on Lumbridge? Tiny thing.
Yes, please go ahead.
I think we also need to acknowledge with the whole 6th Age thing, Jagex has been a revolving door of developers for
and leadership
a long time. Yes, so
leadership especially.
It's no surprise that these different sets of developers we've had here aren't exactly aligned on what the 6th Age was and is and should be moving forward. So, yeah, it's understandable.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We thought we had one graphical update this week, but oh boy, we have another with Lunar Island, Modzak's Lunar Island upgrade.
Yeah, what a wild week, to be honest. Did we have the Amasket thing this week too?
Yeah, that was a Amasket 4K, but I mean, I'm not going there, so I mean, it's out.
Yeah,
for people to care about that.
It's a lot of updates in 1 week.
So, I mean, Lunar Island, holy crap, here, guys. I mean,
yeah,
they got the
that was a shock.
They got the Aurora Aura going in the background next to the Livid Farm. I guess with that, you could say you're aura farming. Something we have been doing all week, right? Except you can now go to the Livid Farm and do Aura farming with Pauline Polaris.
Oh man, I would have loved to do Livid Farm with the Northern Lights.
Yeah,
make it a little bit better, you know?
It would have been. Oh boy. But the ship is huge. That is by definition. Like,
do they not have any smaller ships than that?
I don't think that's the ship we took to.
First thing I noticed, the ship is bigger than the bloody.
Where's the ship?
The ship is bigger than the entire island.
Yeah, you can fit everyone on it.
It's an arc.
But I tell you what is beautiful. If you go down to the altar, the astral altar, how they've redone that is fantastic as well.
It's got like a shimmering glow effect to it that really distinguishes it from the broken ones that we typically see at the surface compared to this active one here. And
it's also
the lighting behind it too. Holy crap!
Yeah, it's got. I was going to say it's got a nice point light on it, and you can see the shadow of your characters.
Oh,
is that what
you call that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember they added the shadows to point lights a couple of years ago. I mean, we've had point lights in RuneScape for a while, but the shadows for them was somewhat newer, and yeah, that really does kind of help the lighting along when you have these specific light sources like that can create shadows.
Oh my god, this might have to be the thumbnail this week. This just with how the lights.
I didn't actually realize they'd done it until before the show, and when I saw Mod Zach's Lunar Isle graphical update on the notes, I thought you just misspelt Mod Zant. I thought you were saying, our Mod Zant is making his own one, and I thought it'd be interesting to look at this. I'll be interested to look at this, and then when Zant come on and I ducked down and had a look and turned the roof back on, oh my god, this has to be probably my favorite graphical update ever.
Yeah, I think, it's excellent. I'm honestly really surprised. It seems like they put a lot of new asset work into this. And I can't remember where like these log cabin kind of assets were used before this.
My question for you, Zant, is does this still feel RuneScapey to you?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
It's the lighting and atmospherics, and it's a small little town. It feels like RuneScape, just kind of up-resed a bit. Um, and also like it's it's within the style. It's the same style that we've been kind of like bringing other areas up to, and it just works with that. And I've always been of the opinion that that style is very RuneScapey. It's like kind of what RuneScape would look like if, you know, back when they started making this game, they put a team of art directors or something behind it to kind of figure out what we want this game to look
Right,
like
because
visually,
they
what we
didn't
want the
have
shapes of
that
things to be.
until like the 2020s, basically.
Exactly. They didn't really have a identity. Um, but yeah, I'm really am curious. Can you guys think of anywhere where more recent areas where these log cabin and walls and that those kind of assets could have come from? Maybe a World of Snow, maybe Land of Snow.
You know, I have a theory. Maybe Fremnik, or
yeah, I'm thinking this is being developed for when they do Fremnik as a whole.
Oh yeah,
but they did do
maybe
Relica first. Relica has been done.
I need to go look at Relica. Maybe these are the Relica
and the
buildings.
farming town there. But the other area.
No, these aren't the Relica buildings.
Oh,
these are even newer than those.
Could they be from the wilderness then, like the far northern edges of the wilderness? Maybe
potentially. But the thing that's queuing me in here, there's just a lot of detail here that looks very specific to Lunar Isle. Like that building that has the like the metallic moon on it. Yeah.
First thing I noticed when I walked in, that was
This is in
the style of architecture is definitely
town.
Something I haven't seen in RuneScape, with how the houses have that kind of like awning part of the second story and the way the planks sit and stuff like that. I haven't been playing RuneScape enough more recently to tell if these come from anywhere else, but
I don't think so. Like just looking at the log cabin
specific
style.
Yeah, I think they made those specific for this update, which is incredible.
I wonder if this was commissioned to be a project or if this was just something that Zach was working on in game jams over the who knows how long.
I've wagered it probably could have been a game jam thing, because I don't think developing a kit like this is an insane amount of work for an artist to do.
Right.
I mean, all the buildings in this town have the same style, and you could probably use that same kind of wall pieces that you make for that for like the outer walls and such like that. So I think it's reasonable to believe that they did, but that is definitely a step up from the prior facelifts we've seen of other areas where they kind of just update the ground textures, update some of the rocks, and don't really touch the buildings.
It a day, yeah.
Yeah, and even Relica got that. Like, I was so shocked when I teleported back to Relica just now, and these weren't the buildings there.
So they got to be unique then.
Yeah. It makes me wonder if they would put buildings similar to this in Relica, because these are, I as far as I can tell, just kind of looking now, a very in similar style that would work there.
Tanis, you know what this reminded me of?
What was that?
It reminded me of some of the Northern Continent ESO things. In ESO.
Mm-hmm.
Like Skyrim, sort of.
Yeah, Skyrim kind of style there.
It really does.
Actually,
and
Tanis would be the best one to ask. Wasn't from Dragon Wilds, was it?
No, I don't think they could do that.
Yeah, I think those are way, way more crispy looking than what we have here.
They even did the inside of Baba Yaga's house.
Did they?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't notice that. I will say one thing that does kind of throw me off from this rework a little bit, and it's understandable. They're reusing assets because they have them, and that's what they need to do to make a rework like this possible. But there are certain things in certain buildings, certain props and decorations that I don't know are as in line with like a Norse culture like this as they should be. Like, why are there Falador White Knight armor sets like in the Smith, for example?
Where was that? By the Anvil building?
Yeah. And there was a good Reddit post about this where someone called out a lot of things like that.
What about when Gunnar invaded? Maybe he took some back and sent them off there during the Fremnik Wars.
That was in the book, wasn't it?
Yep.
In the book you read.
Maybe they're commissioned pieces.
But yeah,
I mean, those are all like they're all minor concerns, right?
Yes, very, very. And in terms of RuneScape, extremely minor. But that's, if I had to be picky as an environment artist, that's my take. But But it makes complete sense. This needed to be a somewhat efficient rework, and that's what they did, and that's what they needed to do to make it happen.
Yeah, and on any other week, this would be the headline update.
Another one is like, why does the bank have like an actual like giant freaking vault here? Like that seems a little weird.
I love the little flag outside the bank.
Yeah, me too. It's very you can kind of tell it's a bank without even like looking at the map, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an excellent update. And I gotta also shout the skybox. I think it's literally the Aurora skybox from like the Christmas events and such, but it just looks great.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more towards the indigo purplies than blue for that one. It's almost just got another layer over the top of it, but holy crap, yeah.
Did the Christmas one have the animated bits to it as well? I don't remember.
It did.
Okay, so it's probably the same base that they just recolored.
Yeah. But if only we had an excuse to spend more time on Lunar Island.
Right. I might just start using that as one of my favorite banks from now on.
Yeah, when you need to like disappear or something in there, right?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys do that randomly, but just try to find a bank in the middle of nowhere to do stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when I was doing the combat dummies last week for DXP, I just went somewhere random for that.
I like the Soul Wars bank for some reason.
My combat dummies periodically resulted in me killing a master farmer. Tells you where I was.
Manor Farm.
Yeah, just outside of it. But if you have not been to Lunar Island yet this week, definitely go and have a look. It is worth the trip, and you might just want to stay there. But
so is this just Mod Zach, I believe?
That's what it says in the news post.
That's very impressive. Like seriously, props to him. This is a great rework, especially the asset work. I didn't expect that kind of resources to go into something like this.
Well, yeah. Oh yeah, it does say Mod Zach's been busy during game jams.
Like they seriously could have gotten away with not updating the buildings here. Like if they would have done the sky and the ground textures and put snow on top of things, that would have pretty much done it. But the fact that we got new buildings, new walls, new pieces of wood and everything, it looks excellent and nicely sculpted too. Some of these like logs, they look like the same kind of chunky square, like chiseled style that like the trunks of the trees do in the Archaeology Guild.
I was going to say that. I noticed some of the similarities on that.
Yeah, it's really good. Like they're keeping the same design language for everything, and it's just great to see RuneScape have some consistency like that.
Excellent. Anything else on Lunar Island from anybody before I move on to a survey?
Nah, it's excellent.
Yeah.
Great job to Mod Zact.
Oh my God.
Is it Zach or Zact?
Zact.
Zact, that's what I thought. Yeah. Excellent work.
They even did the upstairs of these buildings.
Well, duh. Were they just not going to?
Well, I mean, like, everything is updated. The beds are updated. There's potted flowers.
Did this one building have that little bridge you used to walk on in the second story, or is that new? I don't remember that.
Fair.
Oh, my God.
That seemed like... So I was questioning if that's a layout change, but clearly not.
Wow. Okay.
Also, yeah, I'm glad they're not doing layout changes with these two, by the way.
No, yeah, because that helps keep it to within the norm that we expect, right?
Yeah, even though New Catherby is like one of my favorite places in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's excellent.
I'm just taking it all in as we move on to the check-in survey. So we mentioned a mask in 4K is out, so if you're a PVM person, go and do that. The mechanics are same as 2K, you just get hit harder. But we also do have the check-in survey that they published last week. This is running until December 1st, so there's no reason to not go and do this. And it's pretty much a standard survey, and it includes questions about how much you plan on playing in the next 3 months, how you feel about various aspects of the game, and asks if you plan on making a new account, and if not, why not?
Because we don't have to anymore, hopefully.
Have you guys seen the push that people have been talking about how they'd like a new kind of fresh start worlds movement.
Yep.
With the integrity updates.
It's an interesting idea.
Like to have fresh accounts get a marker to say that, this account has never had MTX.
I'd do it. I'd do that instead of my Iron Man, probably.
Okay. I don't think I would. I think we'll keep the main and the GIM. Pern, Tannis.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
I've got a couple of other accounts that I might do at Christmas times and things like that, but generally just the main and the GIMP.
All right.
I'm so tired of my main.
They also ask what everybody's top 5 favorite skills are, but I think more importantly, they ask what skills would you, or rather, what skills do you not like presently? So, top 5 skills that you'd like to see improved. What's everyone's top 5 skills that they'd like to see improved? So, Pern,
agility.
Okay, agility.
Yeah, agility.
All right.
I'd like to see better use for things like fire making, fletching, things like that. Even crafting. I know we've got the new armor, but I'd love to see sort of more use in the skills being used in game rather than just sort of hitting max or quest requirements.
I think summoning.
Okay, that's
summoning.
That's a fair shake. We actually just did a monthly bit on the matter.
Yeah.
Maybe
that's why I said that. It's fresh in my mind. Strength, actually, I think.
Interesting.
I think it's weird how mining uses it, and it has kind of some.
It's kind of undocumented unless you look at the wiki. Just to say,
I've always,
connection is.
I think melee should just be one skill. Honestly, it's weird that it's attack and strength. Like, I know it's always been that way, but why?
You're not the first person.
If you do something like that, you should be sort of combining agility with ranged.
I could see that. Yeah, I could totally see
like
that.
Like the rogue,
but how would you tie in all the shortcuts to range then?
Or well, no, they'd still be on agility.
I meant if agility didn't exist, it just looped into range. Like I thought that's what Pern was saying.
I thought,
or did I misunderstand?
No, I thought he was going.
That's what I was following.
I thought he was going for making like agility a secondary to ranged, like strength is a secondary to attack.
Yes.
Okay.
Or just what would the secondary to magic be in that case?
Exactly. That's where it gets complicated.
Well, that's
Then you
rune crafting. Rune crafting makes the most sense.
Yeah. Necromancy.
Here's the deal.
To necromancy.
Here's the deal. I think what needs to happen is I think agility needs a total rework. I think fletching and crafting need a holistic look at their mid to high tier content going up to the 90s. In that way, just to have the retier and in general, maybe a new training method or two, and then on top of that, I think it's really take your pick between things like maybe doing something else for cooking and fishing, or adding in another rune crafting training method that's not RuneSpan. But I think rune crafting's actually okay right now. So, I mean, if I was going to pick 3, it would definitely be agility, crafting, and fletching to the ones that need the most work in the mid tier, I think, at this point in time. I don't know that I'm necessarily concerned about other skills. I mean, I guess I could go with Usant and say summoning on that, but I think another one that could get like an archaeology level treatment would be divination. Because presently, you use one divination colony, and then you move on, and you really have no reason to go back. So something mid-tier divination might be good. So, any other skills that we'd like to see reworked since we're on that subject?
I think Hunter sucks, but I don't know if that's just because I hate it or if it actually legitimately sucks. But yeah.
All right.
I could agree with that. I just think Hunter sucks personally.
Yeah. Like I can't put my finger on it. Like, is it really or do I just
or is it you?
Yeah, either way.
All right.
Besides Big Game Hunter, I genuinely hate like all of it.
Well, and see, that's the thing. Het's Oasis has provided a hunter training method from level 30 or level 1 all the way up to the 90s that is, fairly good. So it's not.
That one still feels annoying though. Like the
Yeah,
damn
I
gator
don't
just
love
sucks.
it. Yeah, I don't love it.
Like he's right there.
Clicking.
Bite him.
Yeah,
I would
clicking sometimes is.
I know they don't release the data from these surveys anymore, but I would really like to see what everybody's top 5 favorite and top 5 least favorite skills are that from here. I would like to see that.
I'm so curious where dungeoneering is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. There's
There's only
people
one
like
way
me
to
who
fix
love
that.
it, but
Yeah.
See,
I think a lot of people kind of secretly love dungeoneering because it's got some weird nostalgia attached to it.
if you asked me before the GIM, dungeoneering would definitely be in my bottom 3. But playing through on the GIM with the group has actually been fun when we've done it. And we don't do a lot of it, and it's, but it's like in that group where we're all on a chat and having a laugh and things like that, it's actually fun.
Yeah. I think that's a roughly similar reason as to why I love it so much because my time like going for 120 in it was way back when, and it was kind of like a speed running thing for me almost to see how fast we could do the floors. And
Yeah.
I had a fixed team.
And yeah, my 121 run was 99% solo.
Wow.
Mm.
I can't even imagine. I would not want to do that at all.
Well,
No thanks.
I think I've said it before. The first time I got invited in, and the girl who got me onto RuneScape, said, "I'll come with our group, or come with this group." And we told them, "Hey, I'm brand new. I haven't done anything before." But the abuse and the carry on and that, I did 3 floors with them and said, "Yeah, okay, I'm quitting." And that was it, because just the way they were carrying on and things, and just screaming at me basically. It was like, nah, this is bullshit.
GTGD.
They're pumping in all these letters that I don't know what the hell they mean. It was just like, man, piss off.
Oh man, those got intense. There was like abbreviations for all the keys. We had to like figure out.
I still have no idea what they are.
Well, I don't know. It's kind of a feel thing. Once you do enough dungeoneering, you can kind of you see the letter and you can tell which color it is and you can tell what shape it is.
Yeah.
And then I remember, I don't know what the state of this thing, but I remember moving the gate stone and making sure that's positioned correctly.
And if you move it to the wrong place.
Yeah, so you got to like kind of figure out, are people heading down a path that's going to dead end, or is it going to keep going? And if it looks like it's going to dead end, whoever has the gate stone needs to kind of get it somewhere else so everyone can kind of teleport over and start making more progress. And that's why I did
112 to 120 dungeoneering in the dungeoneering hole.
Like, but that whole thing, that whole group coordination, I found that so fun. And like, I was always one of the guys who tried to be the keyer, so I'm kind of the one moving the gate stone around. You're kind of just managing the other 4. And that was always really fun to me.
And that way then you can't get yelled at.
Exactly. You're the one doing the yelling.
Then the other thing was, would you prefer new content or would you prefer content be improved? And I think that's the important bit, is there new content to be added in that 50 to 85 band, or do you improve the existing content that's there? And I mean, our GIM experience from crafting, as the example for that skill, says add a new crafting training method, add a new fletching training method in that tier, maybe fletching just needs to re-tier. A better example for that, I think, is Herblore, because our business on the GIM to get the people to 90 Herblore who needed it for Primal Pulps was literally quest rewards and Jack of Trades. Which, you question if that's a good thing or not. So.
Yeah, Jack of Trades especially was just like, run that every day to get it up to, you get to a point where we can start using some of the herbs that we had. But yeah, a lot of it was just, again, it's that low mid-level game where it's a rush. There's nothing really useful in it, and that's where we need to look at.
So in that regard, for Herblore, maybe it's, just change what else is there existing. But they also asked on this survey about Treasure Hunter and the removal of MTX. With this, what are you looking forward to the most about Treasure Hunter and the removal of MTX? There's an open field where you can write what you want. What concerns do you have about the removal of Treasure Hunter and MTX reduction? And is there anything else you'd like to share about the removal of Treasure Hunter and MTX reduction? So this is where we get that discussion we had a few weeks back about fixing the content so that the game doesn't need to be sped up. So go and fill this out if you have concerns about Treasure Hunter being removed. And you know what I'd say overall here for people who haven't done the survey? If you listened to the episode a few weeks back and you agree with us, and if you're Pern or Tanis here, go in and write that you're concerned about how the mid-game feels after the removal of Treasure Hunter, in that it just doesn't feel good, and that's why you use it to skip that content. So I think that's one thing that could definitely come up with that. The other one that they asked about, and this is a big one, Dailyscape. So in particular, how do you feel about the daily challenges that are in game? And they have the option of, how often do you do these tasks, and whether or not they actually feel satisfying to complete. And they talk about things in particular like warbands, sinkholes, shooting stars, items that will make you money, or items that you will sell for money. So I put in that category things like the potion flask and the rune shop runs for anybody that does them. And then resources you use to train skills like raw meat packs and necromancy supplies and all that. And this is important here because this is exactly what we talked about at one point, about how I think it was that Thaxi that said that he has an entire list of dailies he could do for 2.5 hours when he logs in.
Yep. And I've known people like that. I mean, my buddy used to call them piddles, the piddles game.
Because it all adds up over time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I hope the data they get from this survey matches with what they got from the MTX engagements. Because if there's a mismatch there, and they have to go a different direction from that, then I think that could be a slight concern about in the name of integrity, let's just say, because nobody really knows what integrity is at this point.
Well, integrity means that, what I find, it's going to mean a different thing to different people.
Just like the word fair.
Is it fair that I'm not a millionaire? No, it's not.
That's why I think we go with Tegrity, like from South Park.
Yes.
Just need some more Tegrity.
I've never watched that show.
Tegrity.
I don't find that surprising. So that's right.
Here's a question. What is the ideal amount of time for you to spend completing Dailyscape tasks each and every day?
Should be no more than 30 minutes.
It says less than 5, 5 to 15, 16 to 30, 31 to 45, 45 to 60, or more than an hour. But the big one is I would prefer not to do Dailyscape tasks at all.
Yeah.
How much do we want to bet that I would prefer not to do Dailyscape tasks at all?
Remember when we used to get like a week to do them in? You get one a day and they'd build up, and then you could just go in and just do them all in one hit.
You mean daily challenges?
Yeah.
Yeah. My answer for this one is honestly 5 minutes or not at all, because playing leagues has made it so that I don't want to interact with that daily challenge system. And the only daily challenges I've done since since coming back from leagues have been that I've got ones that I've got like naturally through playing the game. So I am done with dailies.
I mean, the daily challenges are, most of them, 5 minutes. my ones are like your bank running and, getting your runes, getting your yak hides, running around, getting all that, to different areas. I mean, it'd be great if there was just one, like we've got the GE, or we've just got one central hub where I can just go in there and click, yep, I want to buy the runes, I want to buy the yak hides, I want to buy those. I don't have to run to all different parts of the game. But
you hear that, Bob? You're going out of business. We're bringing in Walmart. Costco's coming
exactly.
to freaking RuneScape.
We're getting Mega Mart Lumbridge.
I have a scary thought.
Scapegoat.
At what point does farming become daily scape?
I mean, is it already? Kind of?
Yeah.
What's that?
I just don't interact with it anyway. Like, I know the argument is it makes you feel like you have to, but it doesn't make me feel like I have to.
For farming or dailies in particular?
Dailies in general.
Okay.
Like it
Where's the line between farming and daily? Like, at what point does something that resets every day be considered a daily?
Right. And
farming,
because that's what I'm asking about, because the player-owned farm is effectively daily scape.
Well, yeah, and
so are tree runs.
Completely. Well, this is why I mainly said like 30 minutes. Not that I want to do 30 minutes of dailies every day. Right. Not that I expect to do 30 minutes of dailies every day, but I think it's completely unreasonable to say a game like RuneScape just shouldn't have things on a cooldown ever.
Yeah, and if you're looking at, and I think that's going to be the route between what we call daily scape. If you're looking at the farm, if you're looking at doing shop runs, if you're looking at these different things, to me, shop runs are obviously a daily scape thing, whereas the farm is skilling really, but it is daily, right? So that's where that under 30 minutes,
and it becomes, and it's, but then at the start it's hourly until you get to like the dragons and the zygos and the axe.
Are there any other skills that have kind of time gates like that?
Divination caches, but that's again dailies.
But that shouldn't even be a training method.
Yeah, that's a D&D.
But I mean, you look at things like agility. To me, that's daily scape, because I will generally do an hour's run a day doing my agility. Or
but
I'll
you're not
wait
limited.
For half an hour. No, exactly. But
like,
the half an hour,
you're not capped.
Yeah, if you're half an hour, you'd go and stand on the Seren posts for an hour. You're just striking different poses.
Right, but you can do that in your phone.
But,
because you're going to get the XP. It's just not going to be as
that's
efficient.
But it's still a daily scape. But yeah, it's just, I mean, yeah, farming is that funny one, because it is a unique skill, and that's why I always enjoyed farming, because it was different to everything else.
Too.
Because you did have to plan. Yeah, okay, I need these herbs. I'm going for herb law, so I need to plant these. I need to get these seeds, and I'm going to run here, and I'm going to come back in 90 minutes and hit it again in 90 minutes, because in Australia, every 80 minutes, I always seem to just miss that time, so I just made it 90-minute runs.
Well, the reason that it's off by a bit is because when you log in or when you log out, it resets your tick timer in the middle of that window. The farm ticks are 20 minutes long, typically.
Yeah, so I just made it 90 minutes, so I never had to worry about it. So 90
minutes is the safety margin on that.
Yeah.
They also want to get players' opinions on a number of questions, like Dailyscape helps make me meaningful progress in the game. I enjoy Dailyscape as it is. Dailyscape is an important part of my routine when playing. I feel like I need to finish Dailyscape before I can enjoy other parts of the game. I think for anybody who says yes on this, there's a problem. Because what I have told people since day one of dailies is that if you don't feel like doing it, just don't.
Exactly. Yep. It's a game. Play the game. When they say meaningful progression, yeah, I'm making good progression doing it, but it's not meaningful because I'm not interacting with the skill properly.
Yeah.
See, to me, meaningful means that I have interacted. That's why I hate straight XP. Double XP, and I prefer stars, because at least stars, I'm getting it done quicker, but I'm still interacting properly with the actual skill.
Yeah. Dailyscape should be removed entirely. Again, a sliding ledger from strongly disagree to strongly agree. Dailyscape could be improved. Again, that's leaning into the designer's view of how it would be improved. Doing Dailyscape feels like a chore, and missing a Dailyscape makes me feel like I've fallen behind.
This data's going to be all over the place.
So, I think that there's a strong silent majority one way or the other on this. I think Dailyscape is either going to be the problem it's been made out to be, or it's not. And the data will say that.
I think it's going to be real scattered.
So you don't think there's going to be, you think it's going to you think this chart's going to just look like a chaotic scatter plot, then it's not going to trend one way or another?
That's my fear. And yeah.
The only time
that's
I
my prediction too.
The only time I feel that I've missed out or fallen behind is when there's something like a death dart on the daily challenges, and I've missed a day or something like that. Now I'm going to have to go and spend Viswax to extend a couple of the other challenges to catch up. But other than that, again, I might do daily challenges for 3 or 4 weeks in a row and then just forget about it for a few weeks because I just can't be bothered. I might do it today and not do it for the next 5 days.
I think the strongest signal is going to come from the question about it being removed entirely and it being improved. I think that's where the strongest signal is.
Is there any discussion about
improve it?
Do weeklies and monthlies kind of factor into this too, or is that kind of considered a separate thing?
I think that would be separate.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's like, how impactful are the monthlies? Because
very impactful,
right? Look at Berthorpe's the troll invasion thing.
Yeah,
effigy incubator,
oyster,
effigy incubator,
which I for some reason never do.
Penguins are another huge one.
Yeah.
That has a website associated with it and everything, so there's no reason to not, and you don't need the quests anymore to do them, so...
I get more FOMO from missing those than I do dailies, personally.
Right, because...
And you got a month, right? It's a monthly.
Well, hey, with how little I'm playing nowadays, sometimes I miss
I mean, what you could do in theory is you could just go on on the last day of the month, do your, troll invasion and oyster, and then it ticks over to reset and do it again, and you're done for for 2 months. So that is a way of doing it that way. But I don't know. I would really like to see the data from the survey. I don't know that we will. I guess the final form will be when we get the RS ahead in January. So
yeah, it'd be cool if we could see that. I'm really curious about a lot of these responses.
Yeah,
with their transparency, I don't see why they shouldn't.
Same.
Have a even if they just do a little YouTube video.
Remember
if they don't want to do a stream.
When they used to do live streams back in the day?
That's right. I mean, knowing
oh my gosh, they don't do live streams anymore.
There's only some of the trolls that jump in there on the Twitch chat and just carry on. But if they could do a hour long YouTube video just going through the results and telling us about them. There's nothing stopping them. Right, and
I mean, if we are in the era for transparency, why not?
I'd be fine with even just a news post.
Well,
I'll throw out an invite to any mod out there who is involved in this. Come on the show and have a discussion with Shane. If you want to just do one-on-one with Shane, we can all be there. But if you just want to do you and Shane and talk about it, do it.
I would be happy to do that. It's just a question of getting the higher ups to agree with, sharing survey data.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
Would be happy to do that, but just a question of, getting the blessings of the management types.
Well, if they did something like that, they got to have whoever wrote the MTX stuff.
That has to be the person, right?
Yeah, because the problem is, like, you can't just... I think we've established you can't just plop Jagex developers on a couch and expect that to go well with a live chat. You need your communications person on there.
Which again, who is it? Who wrote that post from 2 weeks ago?
But that person is who needs to be there.
Because that was like nothing we'd ever seen in terms of communication and persuasion. So
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that pretty much brings us to the end here for this. We already mentioned that the Amasket 4K is available. With that, what have we been up to? What have we been up to on RS? Zant, you have a new Iron Man. What was the thought process behind that in terms of starting that?
I'm just sick of my main. I don't know, I decided like 6 years ago or something, I eventually wanted comp, and just the work towards that has just not felt good to me. And I kind of wish I could experience some of the content that's come out, like sort of more naturally as like a player progressing through, and not as just this maxed main. So Leagues showed me that the Iron Man kind of flow is very satisfying to me. It kind of taps into the same energy that games like Stardew Valley do for me, where you kind of gather everything and build it all up yourself. I just haven't had much time recently because things are nuts right now. So I've played it for about an hour, and I've just been kind of following the Optimal Wiki guide loosely, just kind of helping that route me around and kind of finding my own stuff to do from there. But yeah, I think I'm going to stick with that. And I'll probably keep my main members as well.
Because it's always good to have a maxed account if you want to, like a boss comes out, you want to go fight or something like that.
And there is one goal. I still want to get a quest cape on my main. I've never gotten a quest cape.
Really?
I'm like 40 points away or something like that.
I thought you would have had it.
No, I don't.
Oh, now I wonder what quests you're missing.
If you want to check that out after the show, feel free.
Okay.
I'm sure it'll be very interesting to you because there's some old ones.
I don't even know where I would check that, but
I could just like show you.
Okay, yeah, we'll have a look at that after. And you know, that's another thing we've kind of been looking at too, is that everybody always says that, you know, the Iron Man playstyle is for them. And I think it gets back to one thing we talked about earlier in the show. The path for this game is about the middle of it, the grind, the content, the journey, not necessarily the end game. And I think by going with Iron Man, you extend that out a little bit, and it extends that push that everybody has been pushed to go for 120s, to go for comp, to go for something like Master Quest Cape or Trim or 200 mils or rune score or combat achievements and stuff like that. And, you know, Pern, you are one person who has gone for all that, but I don't necessarily know that the game has to push people in that direction. So that might be...
No, it was just something I wanted to do, and my main reason for doing it was just because of the if a new skill comes out, I might want to challenge for front page.
Oh,
just as a bit of fun. But again, when the new skill comes out, I might just not feel like it and not worry, but I'll have that option there.
Yeah, fair enough. Zant, anything else on the IM?
No, not really.
All right. Tanis, what have you been doing? You still on that leaks break?
Yeah, just been on a little break. So really the only thing I did was to log in and check out the updates, the graphics and stuff, Lumbridge. Yeah, and the only gaming I've really done is I'm still playing a little bit of Turtles
from last week.
Yeah,
okay.
But I'll be jumping back in probably
for thieving
soon. Yeah, that's one thing I noticed in leagues is I've got to be better at staying up. Because normally I'll just kind of go through the content pretty quickly, superficially. And then a lot of times I never really go back or use it. I need to like dive more deeply into and like do the updates thoroughly, I think. Because then when I get to leagues, I get to end game, I'm like,
we've had all this interesting stuff, right?
Yeah.
So. Okay. I did Extinction the other night, and next up is Twilight of the Gods, and that'll be the end of the Elder God Wars quest series. and I do have the strong minority opinion that even through the second playthrough, I come out of the Extinction Quest liking Saren more than I did previously, even still this time.
Again, you do. I mean, you are one of those genocide lovers, so
Psychopath.
yeah.
So I remember how controversial that was back in the day when I said I actually like Saren more after this quest when everybody else did not.
I don't know, Shane. Is that more or less controversial than when you enjoyed, waterboarding a dwarf? I mean, you are quite known
that
for
was
these
back in
things.
The day. when Mod Raven still did torture quests. But
RuneScape is a game.
Yeah, you could totally have that in there, right? Genociding a world, torturing dwarves, and sailing across the seas. Because yesterday sailing came out on OS, so I spent some time over there. Got to about level 16 sailing. We will be doing a sailing episode. We were going to do that next week, but 120 thieving's happening, so we will be doing a thieving episode next week and a sailing episode at some point in the future before the year is up. So look forward to that. It's kind of just a way to end off the coverage that we started back on OSRS update earlier in the year. Pern?
Again, not a lot. I've basically just been concentrating on archaeology since I got back on the GIMP. And that's basically it.
I saw some things come up in the collection hawk, and I'm like, what the heck are those?
Oh, the recipes?
No, some prototype godbow and whatnot. I forgot that those existed.
Yes. Be nice if we could use them, but yeah, just going through that. I'm about to click over 113. Which will get me into the last Demonheim one, and hopefully I can just camp there and try and get us some brush pieces.
And I think it's like 115 or something to go to the Warforged one where you can start getting the spear tips.
Yes, 115 for that one. So yeah, 113 and 115 will be chasing a brush, and then 115 or 120 will be. Hopefully, it won't take me 320 mil XP to get my first tip again, like it did on the main. And Shane, who gets 2 in like 60 mil, but hey,
I
we
got
won't
3
talk
total,
about that.
and I'm not even. I think I'm like 140 mil archaeology XP in total.
Yeah, I've even got 2.
One in 320 mil. So yes, did not have a lucky account on that one. That was it for me, really. So yeah.
All right, and then we do have a few achievements this week. Starting off, Jad Chor got 200 million fletching on the 19th. Godin with 200 mil thieving on the 18th, getting in line for 120 next week. Iron VSS with 99 firemaking on the 8th. Shantae Yuste with 99 archaeology on the 18th. Valthazar with 99 hunter on the 18th. Aichazi with 120 herblore on the 17th. And Shantae Yuste again on the 17th with 120 herblore and 99 slayer.
And also on the 17th, we have Valthasar again with 99 thieving. XOX Scotty XOX hit 200 mil agility on the 17th. Black Mexican got 120 thieving on the 16th, as did Elven Badass with 99 rune crafting. Also on the 16th was Skips with 120 dungeoneering. Valthasar again, 99 wood cutting. XOX Scotty XOX with 200 million hooking, and on the 15th we saw Mr. M with 200 mil agility.
Nicely done.
Carrying on the 15th, we've got Ormeni with 99 summoning, Valthazar with 99 summoning and 99 cooking as well. We've then got XOX Scotty XOX, love that Xbox gamer tag by the way, with 200 mil crafting. On the 14th, we got Iron VSS with 99 divination, Valthazar with 99 construction, and XOX Scotty XOX again with 200 mil fletching XP.
Very nice. And then topping it all off, Rhino got 4 billion total XP on November 20th. Good work, everyone.
Well done, all.
All right. Zat, you have the pick of the week. We've talked about Notion before on the podcast, but you have
Notion AI.
Okay.
So
We haven't done much with AI in terms of picks of the week, so let's do this here.
I think this is one of the coolest uses of generative AI I've seen, and it's letting me do some pretty neat things with my productivity. So I've been I used Notion a couple years ago for maybe about 3 months, and I switched back to Apple Notes because it seemed a bit much for me. And then I found this application called AnyType, which is more of like a local first self-hosted version of Notion that's a little bit more similar to something like Obsidian with how its hierarchy works. It has sort of that kind of like node graph view that Obsidian has. But that is too early access for me. It changes too much. The format changes too much. I just got sick of it. So earlier this year, I switched back to Notion, and I've been working on kind of getting all of my productivity stuff into there, including my to-do lists, my notes, things like my watch list, my game list, my reading list, calendar. And I just kind of want all that productivity stuff in one spot instead of multiple apps. And one of the things I do with this is I have some iOS shortcuts on my phone that allow me to quickly just capture data. So you can set newer iPhones, they have an action button on the side, and you can set that to actually a shortcut or a shortcut folder. A lot of people don't know about the folder part. You can see, you can set it to a folder and it gives you a bunch of shortcuts that you can do there. And basically, I wanted to set up one of these. So I could type in the name of a game and have it add to a Notion list. And then I was going to every day go in there and fill out who the developer was, when it was released, what genres it is, and kind of just build up a database of games I want to play and track my progress on them.
That could take a long time.
That can take a long time. And then I started kind of coming up with ways, is there some way I could have that kind of like auto-populate?
Uh-huh.
And Notion AI literally lets you take one of their databases. You can have a page within the database that's, say, called Stardew Valley. It's like, the Stardew Valley game. It can have a property developer. It can have another property genre. It can have another property release date. And you can have those properties be autofilled by their AI with a prompt you give it. So I can say, for this property, autofill it with the developer who developed the game listed in game. And when you type in a name of a game to add to a new page to your database, you just go over to the next cell and click a button, and it just generates who developed it, and then generates the release date and the genre. And you can get really granular with it. You can say, like, give it one genre, give it 5 genres, list all of the genres, list all the developers. And the coolest part is it can update automatically. So when I do that thing where I like literally, when I come up with a game idea, I hold down my side button, I hit game list, I type the name of a game, and it gets added to my Notion. And then when I open Notion later, all that stuff's filled out. It is chef's kiss. It is beautiful. And this is the kind of thing I was trying to do with an API before, because Notion has a lot of integrations.
Yeah, you could hook it into like query a JSON API or something, but you gotta set that up for each and every entry. And what this means, and I'll just distill this for people who aren't Notion users. Effectively, imagine your typical Notes app that works in Pages, but then Notion takes it one step further and sets it up so that each page is a database that you can add properties to. And then rather than you filling out those, the AI is doing that for you.
Yeah.
Have you played it all with the agents side of it?
I have not.
Okay.
Not yet. I just purchased the AI thing the other week because I've been getting kind of pissed off with ChatGPT recently, so I stopped paying for Plus for that, and I'm now paying for the Notion one. And I have a lot of cool ideas with things I'm going to do with the whole database system.
How much is that one?
It's $22 if you buy it on iOS.
And you're allowed to basically then, I'd imagine, choose what model. Like you could use the ChatGPT models, you could use the Google ones, you could use Claude, stuff like that if you wanted to, or is it?
I don't believe it lets you pick. I think for their actual like chatbot that's in the corner that you can talk with, yes. But for the ones that generate like the blocks, no. But as I'll be completely transparent, I am not a Notion power user by any means. I'm still very new to it and still very new to the AI features, and honestly still very new to trying to be this organized. So it's a whole new thing for me.
And that's always the thing. I mean, I've looked into. I use Notion for some things, but it's not like a default that I immediately go to for a variety of reasons. But it's something that you have to commit to and you have to want to use, because if you do not, then you're not going to put the time into it, and then it doesn't become as useful, if that makes sense, I guess. So
no, that's exactly true. And I believe that the this AI thing I found is kind of nail in the coffin, cementing me that I'm a Notion user now, and I'm gonna probably stick with it. I got a really nice task list set up and a database view there. That's effectively completely replaced my Microsoft To Do that I used to use.
Right.
And I think it functions better than that.
Could you imagine if Apple had, actually been on the front with their AI stuff and had a productivity app that Notes was the tip of the iceberg of, and then you could take it all that steps further on that?
Yeah. I just there's so many of the Apple things I wish I could actually just use, but using them on a PC sucks. And I don't have a Mac. I will never use a Mac, but I'm iPhone, Apple Watch, iPad for my other devices. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
And when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, you also have to realize that when you look at the way the app is done on iPad and Mac OS, it's not necessarily like a native app, so it still feels kind of rough around the edges because it's using the same framework that Discord does. But it's more than enough for any of this. So, but thanks for the pick of the week. Anything else on that?
No, I'm just really hyped to get into figuring out what else that AI feature can be used for.
Yeah.
Can't imagine just autofilling a database. That's so much you can do with that.
And
I'm really shocked it can actually search the internet. I was assuming when I first saw that it kind of just only uses the things within your space. But yeah, it can actually just search the internet and find things out for you, and that's amazing to me. Having things automated like that makes me want to be organized, because it's not a ton of effort to do it.
Yeah. I'd like to have an AI thing that generates a daily news summary. I don't know if Notion is that, but
you can maybe figure out a way to do that.
Yeah, maybe. But that's pick of the week. I don't believe we have much else to talk about here this week. So if you want the episodes delivered when they arrive, update.show/subscribe. We're on all the major podcast listening services out there: Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Spotify, and more. Just visit update.show/subscribe. Click on your favorite one, and that's the best way to get the episodes, especially with 120 Thieving just around the corner, coming next week. I don't know who's on that panel yet, because it's of course American Thanksgiving, but we'll definitely sort something out for that. So do subscribe there if you want that show delivered when it is done. Of course, we're also on YouTube at youtube.com/RSBANDB. Do give us a like and subscribe there. Greatly helps the channel out. But of course, Tanis, always good having you on the show here with us.
Thank you, Shane. Good to be.
Pernasius, everybody's some people's first favorite Australian.
One person's first favorite.
And of course, Zant, who did the legendary Legends Guild revamp, and so many other things as well, including the Clan Quest Shield that went to RuneFest and whatnot. Always good having you on, Zant.
Yeah, I always love being a guest host. Thanks for having me on.
And with that,
how's that coin stack going in the back?
Oh yeah, I'm printing a 10 mil coin stack back there, by the way. It's got probably about another hour left. I don't know how good my GP rate is for that, but
we'll have to have a look at that when that's done. Well, with that being said, we'll see you guys next week for another episode of RSBANDB Update. See you then, everyone. Take care.
Happy Skype,
guys.